In this video, I want to go through a mistake or an oversight I made when it came to dividend reinvesting and dividends and selling shares. And I want to share it with you just so you can avoid it in the future. And in my defense, all right, well, no, we'll get to the excuses later. Here we go. So it essentially came down to the fact that I owned shares in Westpac Banking. I had dividend reinvestments turned on. However, I decided to sell my position in Westpac, but I didn't turn off the dividend reinvesting. So potentially because of the period in which I sold the shares that came off the registry. However, the DRP was still turned on and I was paid out my dividends in terms of shares instead of cash. So what essentially happened was I had a few hundred Westpac shares on the registry. I sold it as per my usual process, but I had DRP still turned on. And what happened was the shares got taken off the registry as usual, but then I got shares added back on because of the DRP. So I had an extra like 5, 10 shares, whatever it was, added back on. And this was a bit annoying because I can still sell it, but it's like quite a small amount. It's like a couple of $100 because that's what I would have gotten in cash. I got as shares. So I'm just calling this out because essentially the way to avoid it is when you're going to sell your shares, make sure you switch back or you turn off your DRP and turn it back to cash so that if you do get a dividend payment and you happen to do it in the window when you're going to get your dividend payment or you're eligible to get your dividend payment, you get paid it out as cash instead of having like a small amount of shares, because you'll go from having a reasonable amount of shares on your registry to then having a small amount that you then have to deal with in some way. However, in my defense, I will say this is not something I've seen happen when I've had Computershare as the share registry for the company. It seems to be with Westpac and Link Market Services. Maybe there isn't some kind of function where it automatically switches off the DRP when you sell. Whereas I feel like I've done this kind of selling with Computershare and I haven't had this issue where I've just had the actual ETFs or the actual payments of dividends be paid out in cash even though I had the DRP turned on. Anyway, hopefully that's useful for you, but just remember, if you're going to sell shares, turn off the DRP, then make the sale. See you in the next video. Bye for now.